Hello there and welcome to Black Jackal Gaming. Today we're going to look at the Big Hunt Detachment, and this is the Beast Snagga Detachment in the new Orks Codex. So the entire detachment rules are all focused around the Beast Snagga and they're all locked to those units. There's a good mix of different types of enhancements, so you've got a couple of different playstyles you can aim for, and the detachment rule is really focused on certain units which could be poor into some armies. Stratagems are a good mix of damage output. You've got a lot of durability to make you stay around for much longer, and there's quite a few movement shenanigan options in there as well. It's a solid detachment overall, but it could struggle without other units to support it. So the detachment rule, at the start of your command phase, you can select one monster vehicle or warlord unit in your opponent's army. If your opponent doesn't have any of these on the battlefield, such as if they have it in deep strike or in strategic reserves, then you can select a character unit from your opponent's army. So until the start of your next command phase, this enemy unit is counted as your prey unit. So what this essentially means is that anytime a Beast Snagga unit in your army targets this unit for a charge, they get to re-roll the charge roll, which is really nice. They also, as well, anytime they make an attack against this unit, they get to improve the armor penetration by 1, which is really nice because a lot of the AP in the Orks Codex is 0 or 1. A lot of the Beast Snagga stuff is just the 1 AP, so bumping that up to 2 AP is very beneficial. Looking at the enhancements, the first one's called Glory Hog. This is for a beast boss on Squighog and it's model only. So when he's leading a unit, the bearer's unit get this the scout's 9-inch ability. This means that before the first battle round takes place, you can move this unit 9 inches. The next one's called Scrag Every Stash. So this is for your Beast Snagga models. At the end of your command phase, if the bearer is in range of an objective marker and it's under your control, you will keep this even when you have no models within range. So it essentially gives it sticky objectives. And for your opponent to control it, they have to take it and control it at the end of any turn. So not any phase like some abilities have. This is at the end of the turn, which is quite nice. Next we have Probability. This is for a Beast Snagga model. So you add 1 to the damage characteristics for the melee weapons equipped by the bearer. So that's just the bearer, not a unit he's leading. Then we have Surly as a Squighog. This is a beast boss on Squighog, and this is the model only. So when they're leading a unit, each time that unit attacks a unit, if the strength characteristic for that attack is greater than the toughness of the unit, which it will a fair amount of the time be, you get to subtract 1 from the wound roll. So while the bearer is leading a unit, anytime that unit is targeted, if the strength characteristic is higher than the toughest characteristic, it's -1 to be wounded. So it adds a lot of durability to the unit. Looking at the stratagems, the first one's called Drag It Down, and this is a battle tactic for 1 CP. And this happens in the fight phase, and this is for a Beast Snagga unit. So until the end of the phase, melee weapons have the sustained hits 4, and in addition, if it's your prey target, you get critical hits on a 5+, which is quite nice because you're often coming in with 3 or 4 attacks, especially if the war's being cold, and to be then having sustained hits 4 on a 5+ is very nice. That's going to come off very often. Then we have Unstoppable Momentum. This is strategic ploy for 1 CP, and this happens in your charge phase at the end of a charge. So you use this on any Beast Snagga unit. So what you essentially do, you roll 1d6 for each model within your unit, and you target an enemy unit within engagement range. Now for every 4+ you roll, the unit suffers 1 mortal wound, to a maximum of 6 in total. And if this is your prey unit, then you roll an additional 3d6, which is very nice, adding a lot more damage output to the stratagem. Next we have That One's Even Bigger, a strategic ploy for 1 CP, and this is during your charge phase. So this is for a Beast Snagga unit in your army. So until the end of this phase, your unit is eligible to charge even if it advanced or fell back. And this is provided that the charge is against your prey unit. So if you've tried to do a little bit of damage into this guy and it doesn't look like there's going to be enough attacks going into him to finish him off, you can then activate a unit that's advanced and fallen back and wouldn't be able to charge and charge into your prey target, which is quite nice. Then you have Where Do You Think You're Going? Strategic ploy for 1 CP, and this is when an enemy unit ends a fallback move. So this is for a Beast Snagga infantry or mounted unit. and they have to be within engagement range of the unit that's falling back at the start of the phase. So what this essentially does is that if a unit falls back from combat from you, you then get to make a normal move, as long as you're not in an engagement range still, of up to 6 inches. So this gives you the ability to do a little bit of swinging at objectives, or get into certain parts of the board to score you VP in your turn. It's a very nice stratagem to have, especially for 1 CP. Next we have Stalking Tactics. It's a battle tactic for 1 CP. So this is in your opponent's shooting phase just after they've selected a unit, and this is for an infantry or mounted snagger unit. So for the rest of the phase you gain benefits of cover, so you get to reduce incoming AP by 1, and if it doesn't have AP because your save is not 3+ or better, you do get +1 to your save still, so a lot of the time you'd be saving on 3s, 4s or 5s, depending on what unit it is. And if you've got the infantry keyword, you get stealth as well, so you're -1 to be hit. Then we have Instinctive Hunters. This is a strategic ploy for 1 CP, and this is the end of your opponent's fight phase, and it's for 1 Beast Snagga that's not in engagement range at the moment. You can remove this unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. So a nice bit of movement shenanigans that you can put into play there. Looking at the buffs or combos, you're probably going to be looking at the Squighog boys. And they come with 3 wounds, a 4-up save and a 5-up funeral pain, which is quite nice. And you do get that 5-up invulnerable save during the war as well. So their weapons, their ranged and melee weapons, come with the anti-monster and vehicle 4+. So you know what your target's going to be. You're going to automatically wound these regardless of their toughness on a 4+. So for the ranged attacks, they come with some slug as well, but they're not worth talking about. But they do come with 8 ballistic skill 5, strength 5, -1 AP, 2 damage weapons. So the strength isn't great, and the ballistic skill isn't great. But if you do manage to make hits, you're going to be wounding your toughness 12 opponent on a 4+, and it's -1, 2 damage. And if it's into your prey target, you get an additional AP there as well. And then when you get into combat, it's 18 weapon skill 3 attacks. A strength 5, -1 AP, 2 damage. And then you also get your 8 strength 6, -1 AP, 2 damage big chopper weapons from the knobs. And as well as that, you do get the squig attacks, which aren't anything to laugh about. So they have an ability that allows you to ignore modifiers to move, advance, and charges. So there's really no way for your opponent to slow these guys down apart from move blocking them, because they can't use any form of abilities or stratagems to make them move slower. Now, if you combine him with the Beast Boss on Squigosaur, they also gain a +1 to their charge, or they also have a free use of a heroic intervention, which is quite nice for a bit of counterpunching. He comes with 6 weapon skill 2, strength 6, -1 AP, 2 damage, and they are anti-vehicle monster as well. Plus his squig attacks come with devastating wounds, which is very nice. So when you combine this with the Drag It Down for your sustained hits 4 on a 5+, or the Unstoppable Momentum, you're averaging 6 mortal wounds coming in there if you have your 6 Squighog riders with your 2 knobs and your Beast Boss. Against a vehicle or a monster, you're going to be averaging 2 damage from any range attacks when you're coming in, which isn't anything great, but any damage is really beneficial. And then you can average 5 mortal wounds on the charge as well when you're using Unstoppable Momentum. So your melee from your boys are going to be averaging 8 damage, and if you use Drag It Down, the stratagem for your sustained hits 4, you can average another 12 to 16 damage, because those sustained hits going off on a 5 into your prey target are really nice. Then you've got your 2 knobs that are going to average another 4 damage, and then if you include the sustained hits 4, it's another 4 to 8 damage, which is very nice for your knobs. And then your squigs are going to do 4 to 6 damage, and then a further 10 to 14 damage from your sustained hits, because they get a lot of attacks. And then your Beast Boss is 2 to 6 damage, and then a further 4 to 6 damage because they're sustained. And then you get the 3 damage from your Squigosaur jaws, and you do have the ability sometimes for these to become devastating wounds. So your Squig Riders on the charge in the war against the prey target are really brutal. They're going to push out a lot of attacks and damage, and they're going to average through a 4+ save 57 to 79 damage. So they can pretty much, targeting a vehicle or monster using these buffs, wipe out everything in the game. They are very good. Now the only way to really do anything against these guys is to have any abilities that changes their weapon skill, or potentially has minuses to wound as well. They try and remove that 4+ to wound. But if they don't have anything that's going to lower the statistics coming in, that's 57 to 79 damage is really going to punch through, because you got the -2 AP into your prey target as well. It's very, very nice. And this isn't even including the fact that a lot of your weapons are going to be set strength 7 or 8. So you might actually, into some targets, be getting additional wounds through when you're wounding on your 3s. If you liked the video, hit the like button or subscribe to the channel. Consider taking a membership to support the channel, because you get early access to the videos. Or head over to Patreon, where I do some blogging and post some memes, and there's a couple of little STLs available over there as well. There is a free membership, but you get access to the majority of things. If you like the videos, check out these other ones. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.